People, I think we have the confirmation of the PS5 Pro specs as of this Wikipedia update. So the Pro is actually it's basically a custom AMD RDNA 360 compute units, variable frequency of up to 2.35 GHz and a 33.5 teraflops peak. I think it was mentioned in this article here. Yeah, they did actually confirmed it. It's actually say the Sony PlayStation 5 Pro codename Trinity sees a new day as revealed during a podcast from Digital Foundry. The team discusses new materials originating from the Sony developer portal, which the editors have gained access to. So they said, according to new information, the PS5 Pro GPU is once again confirmed to have feature 30 workgroup processors or 60 compute unit configuration. That means the media mentions the exact configuration featuring two shader engines and reviews a small update for the console's GPU clock. So this is how it looks like. So the max GPU frequency is 2.35 GHz, GL2 cache 4 MB, GL1 cache 256 KB, and the GLove cache at 32 KB. So yeah. So they said, contrary to what was initially thought, the maximum GPU clock is 2.35 GHz instead of 2.18 GHz. This clock speed is listed as the absolute maximum clock, which may not be reachable at all times. This may explain why the initial compute figures mentioned a 33.5 teraflops figure instead of the usual 36.1 teraflops that this new leak would suggest. So it's also revealed that the GPU will have access to larger caches, with the GLove cache specifically increased from 16 KB to 32 KB on the Pro variant of the console to boost ray tracing acceleration. So yeah, that's the this is actually the actual information here. I also got some news on PS6. So this one here is like, yeah, the well, they were saying something like, okay, there's a piece of news on PS6. So the well-known AMD leaker Kepler recently took the new GA forums to reveal that two different PlayStation SoC systems on a chip are in the works. So this could mean that the next generation Sony console could be released in two different SKUs. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the forum. That's what they actually leaked out. So basically, it's right here. They did leak out this information. So there's another piece of news from this this Reuters that they said that because actually Sony wants to prioritize backwards compatibility. So in fact, AMD has won a contract for the right to make the PS6 SoC. So here's the report. So I'll just read out to you and in fact, Intel lost PlayStation 6 chip contract to AMD. That's why they want to focus on backwards compatibility for PS5 and PS4 game sources say. So they say dispute over profit margins blocked Intel Sony deal, sources say. And then PlayStation could have generated $30 billion in revenue. So it says here that Intel lost out on a contract to design and fabricate Sony's PlayStation 6 chip in 2022, which dealt a significant blow to its effort to build its fledgling contract manufacturing business, according to three sources with knowledge of the events. So they said that the effort by Intel to win out AMD in a competitive bidding process to supply the design for the forthcoming PlayStation 6 chip and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co. as the contract manufacturer would have amounted to billions of dollars of revenue and fabricating thousands of silicon wafers, among two sources said. So, winning the Sony, Intel and the AMD were the final two contenders in the bidding process for the contract. So it says here that winning the Sony PlayStation 6 chip design business would have been a victory for Intel's design segment and would have doubled as a win for the company's contract manufacturing effort or foundry business, which was the centerpiece of Intel's CEO Pat Gelsinger's turnaround plan. Gelsinger announced plans for Intel to create a foundry unit in 2021 and formally launched it as an event in San Jose, California in February of this year. The PlayStation chip deal originated in Intel's design segment but would have been a boon to the financial performance of the foundry business after this year's separation. So it says here that details of the discussions and how Intel missed out on the contract for Sony's as yet unannounced next generation game console are reported here for the first time. So typically Sony consoles sell more than 100 million units across half a decade. For a chip designer, the console business develops a lower profit than the gross margins of more than 50% for products like AI chips, but nonetheless represents steady business that can profit from technology a company has already developed. And then it says Sony business also could have helped boost Intel's contract manufacturing business, which now struggles to find big new clients. Okay, so a dispute over how much profit Intel stood to take from its chip sold to the Japanese electronics giant blocks Intel from selling on the price of Sony, according to two of the sources. Instead, rival AMD landed the contract through a competitive bidding process that eliminated others, such as Broadcom, until only Intel and AMD remained. So discussions between Sony and Intel took months in 2022 and included meetings between the two companies' CEOs, dozens of engineers and executives. So, in response to Reuters reporting about the PlayStation 6 talks and Intel's failure to win the business, and Intel's spokesperson said, "We strongly disagree with this characterization, but I'm not going to comment about any current or potential customer conversations. We have a very healthy customer pipeline across both our product and foundry business, and we are squarely focused on innovating to meet their needs." And then Sony and Broadcom did not respond to requests or comment. AMD declined to comment. So and what it says is that the current generation of Sony's PlayStation consoles are powered by custom chips with a design contract fulfilled by AMD. So Sony announced the PlayStation 5 Pro last week, but has not yet unveiled the next generation. Years after its 2020 launch, Sony said it sold 20.8 million of the first generation PlayStation 5 systems in fiscal 2023. So similar to how big tech companies like Google and Amazon rely on outside vendors to help design and manufacture custom AI chips, Sony relies on experienced design contractors to make the processors for systems. So the console chip designs typically try to ensure compatibility with earlier versions of the system to allow users to run older games on the new hardware. Moving from AMD, which made the PlayStation 5 chip, to Intel will have raised backwards compatibility, which was a subject of discussion between Intel and Sony engineers and executives, the sources said. Ensuring backwards compatibility with prior versions of the PlayStation would have been costly and taken engineering resources. Allowing PlayStation users to play games they have purchased for older systems is a feature that Sony often includes in the next generation system. Having missed the first wave of the AI boom dominated by Nvidia and AMD, Intel reported a disastrous second quarter in August. Intel announced plans to cut 15% of its workforce to save $10 billion and has prepared a plan to reduce its capital spending on its factory expansion that was a cornerstone of its foundry strategy. So I think this is actually the news for the PS6 console, and that's about it.